now live on Instagram. What's up, Instagram? We are now live on the Power, Purpose, and Passion podcast. We are ready to go into the next steps of the 9 steps to improve your relationship, to improve your life, to upgrade every aspect of your life. Let's do this.
Awesome. So we are now also live on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch.
What's going on? Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, so I will press record on the show in 3, 2, 1.
Leaders and healers from around the globe, from around the universe. Welcome to the Power, Purpose, and Passion podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Cheam, life coach, trainer, speaker, business owner, entrepreneur, life coach, everything. I just, I want to get in touch and experience everything I can, every talent I have. I want to activate them so I can ultimately help you be the best version of yourself. I know I went off there on my introduction, but I'm just crazy like that. But welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Power, Purpose, and Passion podcast. This is where we help you, the audience out there, leaders and healers, to claim your power, clarify your purpose, and cultivate your deepest and highest and widest passions possible. So ultimately, you can show up as the best version of yourself, the better and best version of yourself, continually grow, to sharpen, to share yourself. So ultimately you can help others and give them permission to be the best version of themselves. So thank you for joining us today. Share, subscribe on iTunes, on YouTube, on Spotify, whatever platform you're listening to this on, subscribe. We're going to be doing this podcast Monday to Friday. Usually we do it from 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday to Friday. But in this case, I have a crazy schedule with the personal challenges that are going on in my life. But I'm going to continue to serve you, continue to give you value, continue to love you, continue to serve every aspect of your life, and feed as much energy and power into your life as I possibly can. That's God's way of breathing through me. So anyways, Cam, thank you for joining us. We are basically towards the end of this 9 steps to improve your relationship program sequence, teaching you how to improve relationships. And I believe we're on step number 7. Is that correct?
Yeah, step number 7. Very exciting time. So I real quick did want to thank everyone for listening, because we have, you know how 2 times is doubled, 3 times is tripled? We've done 178 times what we had at the beginning of this whole thing. We have completely compounded the growth of this show when it comes to listens on Spotify and iTunes and all that. So thank you for listening. It's amazing. And also, if you have the time and you really want to help us out, rating the podcast, giving it a rating on iTunes or Apple Podcasts is what they call it now, would be wonderful. That's it. So this episode is about the rules of the game, step 7. And if you haven't heard any of the other steps, go listen to them, because they're incredibly valuable, almost too valuable. Rules of the game, step 7. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. Well, listen, before I get into that, as I said, if you really want to help yourself, and you want to help the people around you, and you like what you're hearing and what I'm giving to you, because listen, I'm giving everything I possibly can, all the nuggets, all the pieces of wisdom I've learned in my 15, 20 years of being in this industry, studying, reading books, attending seminars, spending tens of thousands of dollars on these types of seminars that you're getting basically for free. I'm not saying this to impress you, but to tell you how much I'm committed to helping and serving your deepest needs and desires. And so if you like it, subscribe, share, like, comment, give it to somebody. Give this gift to somebody. If you think of somebody, hey, you know what, this episode will help my best friend or my mother or my father or whoever, you know what, I'm going to send this to them and giving them this gift. So I hope you are able to do that. Hope you will do that. So that's step number 7, is to know the rules of the game. Let me tell you something. Let me ask you a question. If you are whatever role you're playing in life, whether it be a mother, a father, a husband, a wife, a son, a daughter, a brother, a sister, an entrepreneur, a business owner, a police officer, a fireman, a teacher, whatever role you're playing, ask yourself this question: what has to happen in order for me to be the best mother, father, coach, teacher, principal, doctor that I can possibly be? What has to happen in order for me to be the best father or the best mother, to feel successful as a whatever role you're playing? So let's use the example for, you, Cam. What has to happen for you in order for you to feel like you're being the best musician or the best friend? What do you have to do on a specific basis, on a specific timeline, for you to feel on a daily basis, hey, you know what? I was a good friend today. So as you answer that question, you're going to go into the deep reservoirs of your brain and come up with rules. Now, if you think, oh, I don't have rules, trust me, everybody has rules about themselves, about who they have to be, about, excuse me, about who other people have to be, about who you like, who you dislike. So in the example I just gave you, Cam, what do you have to do on a daily basis for you to feel like you're being a good friend to somebody?
I would say really telling me how they feel truly. That's how I know that, okay, we broke down the barriers and I've reached that level. And that means I'm probably a good friend since they're sharing this information with me and we're talking like real.
Oh, good. And so this actually stems back into the first few steps, the love languages, the personality types, understanding what your love language is. That's a rule. Because one of my rules is words of affirmation and physical touch. So in order for me to feel real deep love, people got to hug me, got to, got to pat me on the back or tell me I'm doing a great job. Just before this call, I basically Cam gave me some of his personal challenges and I gave him a little quick coaching session. And one of the things he said to me, man, you have this innate ability, Anthony, to say the right thing in the right language and the right English and the right metaphor, the right story. And it literally lit me up. It gave me literally goosebumps. Just him saying that to me. I have a rule that says when people reinforce who I am as a human being and me helping that person, that's when I know I've been a good coach. How do I know I've been a good father? Well, I have certain rules about that. So I might say, okay, I tell my kids I love them 10 times, or I snuggle with my kids. I do it almost every single night. There's very rarely I don't get to snuggle with my kids. That's one of my rule books about me being a good father, spending quality time before they go to sleep with them, snuggling with them, kissing them, hugging them, laughing with them. And my other rule about being a good father is always starting the morning off with I love you. Good morning, sweetheart. Daddy loves you. So I start the morning good. And then I end the day good with snuggling and cuddling, all that stuff. That's when I go, you know what? I've been a good father today. But now here's the tougher part about life. If I said to you, let's change the subject. If I said to you, Cam, how do you know you're being a healthy, fit, strong individual? What would you have to do on a daily basis for you to feel like, wow, I'm being healthy and fit today. I'm taking care of my body. What would you need to do on a daily basis? I know one of the rules for you would be a vegan for sure, right? So what's another rule? Exercise, specifically how much exercise, how much time? What would you need to do to feel like you were being a good athlete, exercise individual?
I would say... yeah, I have this health app, right, and it tracks my steps. So getting a certain amount of steps,
good, yeah,
doing a quick exercise in the morning, drinking a lot of water, sleeping, getting a good night's sleep. And honestly, when it comes to all of that, a telltale sign of whether or not I'm being healthy is how I feel the moment I wake up. Like, do I feel dead?
Oh, very good.
Or did I work hard during the day so that I rested hard during the night?
Yes.
And it's weird how the telltale sign is just how you feel the moment you wake up.
That's a great rule. So you have rules in place, whether consciously or unconsciously, every human being has it, that says, in order for me to feel like I'm a good father or a good fitness person or healthy person or a good mother, a good employee or a good boss, you have a certain set of rules that says, if I do this, and this, I feel like I'm a good person. Now, I hate to go here, but what would you have to do to feel like you are not being a good boss or a good friend or a good father, a good mother? It's good to understand what your rule book about what it takes to not be a good father, not be a good boss, not be a good musician, not be a good fitness person. So oftentimes, I mean, I've done this on other coaching podcasts as well, where I'll say, health is, and they might say, health is working out every day. Health is eating healthy foods. Health is, and then I continue. And as I get to know the rule book about health, I get more specific. And then I say health is not, and they might go, health is not eating McDonald's every day, or health is not, being stressed out all the time, or whatever it might be. And I can use any subject. Relationships are not. Spirituality is not. Religion is not. A good father is not. A good mother is not. A good husband, a good wife, whatever. You can use any role that you're playing. Take any role that you're playing, a son, brother, whatever, sister, mother, wife, whatever it might be, entrepreneur. What do you have to do? Determine what your rule book is of how you need to play your game of life and feel like you are successful in that role. I remember Tony Robbins gave an example in one of his seminars. He said he had someone, he asked the audience, what would it take for you to feel like you're successful on a daily basis? And the one guy stood up and he said something like, I need to be making $10 million a day or a year, $10 million a year, have 6% body fat. I gotta feel like all my 5 kids are not bothering me or not angry, and they're all gonna go to university and be successful. Well, the question is, what are the chances of that guy feeling? He's just not going to feel successful, because the chance, even if he does feel successful in getting 6% body fat or whatever it was, and $10 million a year, his 5 children, he's not in control of his 5 children. Maybe his one child becomes, goes into a missionary in Africa, and that's not his rule book about what his kids are supposed to be doing. And then he's going to get frustrated. He's not going to feel like he's a success. The key to feel successful or happy and fulfilled, make sure you're in control of your rule book, not someone else's it is in control. Don't say I'm happy when other people are happy. Well, not everyone's going to be happy around you. I'm happy when I'm serving others. I am happy and fulfilled when I'm serving. I'm serving the audience right now. That's in my control. Whether you listen to it or not, or apply it or not, it's not up to me. But I'm happy when I'm serving. I'm happy when I'm meditating. I am happy when I feel like I'm making a difference in the world. I'm happy when I'm writing. I'm playing my music. I'm happy with my kids. I'm happy, and my rule book is very simple. I don't say I got to do this. I literally say I'm happy when I'm, interacting with people.
Whoa.
Well, what I'm saying?
Crazy.
So little.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
You can finish what you were saying.
No, go ahead. I want to hear your.
It was crazy because you just got done saying I'm happy when blah blah blah. Happy when I did that without even thinking that I was writing down my rules.
Yeah.
And I was just feeling really blissful for some reason at one point.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, okay, might as well write it down. Like, I don't know why I'm happy right now. So I just wrote, like, I'm happy when, when I give myself credit for the person that I am.
Yes.
I'm happy when I try to do things for others and they appreciate it and it works or whatever. I'm happy when this, and I'm happy.
Yes.
That's crazy how I wrote that down without even thinking. Yeah.
You got it.
But it also just kind of cleared up. So when I'm unhappy, I know exactly what makes me happy.
Yes, you got it. Yeah. See, I think one of the biggest lessons I learned from studying Tony Robbins' works is that you want to make it very simple to feel successful and happy, and very hard to feel depressed, sad, angry, and a failure. One of my rule books about failure, I'm a failure when I'm beating myself up and not doing anything about it.
Ooh.
So if I'm just beating myself up and I just can sit there and complain all day, then I'm a failure. And so when I'm like, okay, all I need to do is extract whatever lesson I need to extract from whatever challenge I'm going through, step up, raise my standard, and I'm successful. What does it take for me to be a failure? To feel like I'm not loving myself. Well, exercise to me is one of the greatest forms of loving myself, which is why I do a lot of exercise. Loving myself is, you can even ask yourself that question. What would it take for me to love myself? What would it take? And here's the other thing. As you start to get to know yourself in your own rule book of life and relationships and what you need to feel like successful or happy. And by the way, that seminar that Tony Robbins did, he asked another person in the audience, what would it take for you to feel like you're successful? And he stood up and you know what he said? This was his rule book. Every day above ground is a great day. Think about how crazy that is. Every day above ground, he feels successful. Just knowing that he's alive. Now, let's compare the person A, the $10 million guy with 5 kids that need to be successful at 8% body fat or whatever it was, or the guy that says every day above ground is a great day. The second guy who just thinks, hey, I'm successful just being alive and above ground, he's going to feel more successful than the second guy. So the second guy, I'd rather be like that guy that feels fulfilled and peaceful, and he's giving and he's loving and he's experiencing, he's in joy. So one of the things is get to know your own rule book about success, about happiness, about relationships. Here's the other thing. As you study yourself, remember the first step is know thyself. As you get to know yourself, know if you're in an intimate relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever it might be. Here's the thing. Understand the rule book of your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, your mother, your father. Ask them, what do I have to do in order for you to feel like I'm being a good husband? I asked my wife this question a while ago. I said, what would I need to do in order for you to feel like I was being a good husband? And she gave me a set of rules. You need to turn off your phone and spend time with the kids, like even if it's for 5 minutes. All right, just don't sit there on your phone while you're talking with them, right? That's not full presence. I mean, she actually called me out on it and said, you teach about presence and all this good stuff. I wonder what your listeners or your people reading your book would say. And I said, I got the lesson. So she's able to call me out on some of that stuff. Only a wife can do that. But anyway, the point is that as you understand your own rule book, understand other people's rule book about you. So in the case, let's say you have a business partner, ask your business partner, hey, what would I need to do in order for this business relationship to soar and be amazingly solid? And he might say, I need you to email me every day. Wow, that's an important rule to him or her. I need to email them and continue to communicate with this person. If I didn't ask them that question, then I wouldn't have known that. They would probably feel pretty offended. So it's good to understand that rule book. A great illustration of this is I've given this before about Christmas. So when I have Christmas in my house, I love Christmas. And by the way, 90 days till Christmas, guys. I know I'm a crazy Christmas guy. I love it because Christmas music, the flower, the lights, all that's fun stuff. Anyway, the point is, my phone's ringing. So the point is that, so I'm going to turn off my phone here. The point is that for me to experience Christmas, I love the lights. I love shopping for people. I'm thinking about other people. That's my rule book. But I also want to know other people's rule books. So when guests come over to my house, I ask them, what would have to happen in order for you to feel like it was Christmas to you? Well, gingerbread cookies or eggnog or Christmas music in the background. And specifically, I like Celine Dion or Michael Bublé or whatever. And then I would put that music on, have eggnog and then gingerbread cookies. So not only am I experiencing in their rule book what Christmas means to them, but I'm also sharing my gift of what Christmas means to me. And we get to coalesce and join in on the dance of our rule books. And we get to kind of experience each other's rule book about life, about Christmas, right? That's one example.
Yeah, so Jared Aitken, great guy. He actually lives close to me. He commented, you would probably have to ask for a rule book update every month. Is that a thing? like rule books or rules in general fluctuate and they change all the time?
In certain contexts, yeah, they have something called situational specific rules. So I might ask you, would you ever kill somebody? And you go, well, absolutely not. Well, what if I had a gun to your wife's head? Would you person to say, right? Well, that's a situational specific rule. I mean, that's an extreme case. So yeah, your rules can change in context. It's also the state that you're in. That also determines the rules you're gonna abide by. If you're in a frustrated state, your rules will change compared to if you were in a happy, joyful, giving, bountiful, abundant state. Yes. Here's my suggestion to that. Here's my suggestion to everyone listening to this. Put together a code of conduct for how you wish to conduct your life, who you wish to show up as, your rule book about the game of life. Life is about this. Life to me is a ever effervescent, unlimited giving gift that we unwrap every day in every moment of life. Sometimes we get a gift we want. Sometimes we get a gift we don't want. But it's not about the gift we get. It's how we respond to the gifts we get from the universe. That's what's most important. So that is what my rule book of life is. It's not what you do with what life gives you, or it's not what life gives you, is what you do with what life gives you and how you respond to it. So yeah, put together a mission statement or a code of conduct for here's who I am. This is what life's about. This is who I am. This is how I'm good. This is my standard. This is what I value. This is this is what I'm going to give to my relationships. This is what I'm going to give to my job, my career, profession. This is what I'm going to give to the world. This is the legacy I wish to leave the footprint on the next generation. And here's how I'm going to live it. You put a bunch of rules, and then something that you read every day, and then you can update it monthly, yearly, every decade, whatever it might be. We're always growing. So it's good to update our blueprint or update our model of the world, update our rule book, our code of conduct. It's great. I'm constantly doing that. So yeah, for sure.
Maybe also like a good tool or something for people to use would be to every single morning just answer 3 of those. Like happiness is, give 3 examples every morning. And that would keep it like you're using that part of your brain that is actually creating and not just reading back, Sure. So every morning something new is coming to mind, and then you get to know yourself even more. Self-awareness is unbelievably important. I'm glad we had that first episode about it.
In my book You 2.0, I talk about the 5 power types of human potential, and the first power is spiritual power, your ability to be aware of yourself and aware of the good things, the bad things, the accessible to your innate abilities and talents and gifts that you may not be activating on a consistent basis. And one of your awareness powers is knowing your ability to be aware of your rules that are hurting you and helping you, and your ability to shift them and say, you know what, I'm not, my rule book, as an example, my rule book used to be, I'm happy when I make other people happy. Well, geez, that puts me on a lot of stress because I'm waiting for them to be happy in order for me to be happy. Now my rule book is, I am happy when I'm just in the moment, smiling and being grateful. And the more happy I am, that's going to exude and it's going to affect other people. So that's in my control, not in the control of other people. So you want your rule book to be in your control, not in someone else's control. And in context of your relationships, make sure you understand not only your rules, but your wife's rules, your children's rules, your husband's rules, your mother's and father's rules. I remember having a conversation with people. I say, when I do relationship coaching, I'll ask, what does your husband need to do in order for you? What are 3 things your husband needs to do in order for you to feel like he's being a good husband? And she'll name off the 3 things. And I'll say, what does your wife need to do in order for you to feel like she's being a good wife? And with those 3 rules, you write those 3 rules down, and then you ask yourself the question, well, these are 3 rules my wife wants me to follow in order for her to perceive me as a good husband, and vice versa. And I promise you, as you start to be flexible in the way you live life, you raise your standards, you shift your rule book, and you start to meet other people where they are, I promise you, oh my gosh, your relationships will be legendary. Your love expansion and experience of life and love will be just monumental and magnificent on levels you've never experienced before, only because you're now playing the rules, not by your own rules, but by the rules of other people. Because I'm going to be honest with you, when you meet people where they are and you walk a mile in their shoes and you meet them where they are, I promise you, you will build a friend for a lifetime. And as I say to people all the time, don't go out looking for a friend. Go out being a friend, and you'll have plenty of them. Too many people go out looking for friends. Oh, I can't find anyone. I can't find. Well, be the change, as Gandhi says. Be the friend. Be the source of love. Be the source of inspiration. Be the source of strength and purpose in your life. Exude that power. Right? Emanate that love, emanate that inspiration. And if you can't find anyone that is a source of inspiration, be the source of inspiration, be that standard, live that standard, breathe it, read it, study it, and live it with every fiber of your being. And when you bring that awareness into, I'm 100% responsible for my own rule book, I'm 100% responsible for how I respond to life, that's both the good news and the bad news. The good news, because you're now taking full responsibility for your own happiness and fulfillment and success and the game of life. Bad news is because you spent the last 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years living the same rule book without the actual awareness that you have the power to change it.
Okay, so great episode.
Awesome episode. Thank you for joining, you guys. Love it.
We got a comment from Darlene. She says hello.
Hey, Darlene, what's up in London? What's going on? Or Lambeth.
Yeah. And Jared said, sorry to change the subject.
Yeah,
I'm
no
thinking
problem.
You might be able to help me out with this.
Sure.
He says he gets taken advantage of and he doesn't know how to fix it. People sort of use him for who he is. And what I was honestly thinking, like, if he was to just go through the last 6 steps, you'd understand without a doubt how to fix that. Like, it's what we talk about is how to, like you said, don't try and look for friends who don't use you. Just be a friend who doesn't use people, right? That's like, and that's exactly sucks because when you're in that place where you're actually, dealing with the issue, that little answer is really unsatisfying.
You're absolutely right. Well, you're right. And you know what? The first thing I would tell you, Jared, is this. What is your rule book about being taken advantage? What has to happen in your life for you to feel like someone is taking advantage of you? And then shift the rule book from, okay, Eleanor Roosevelt said something so powerful. She said, no one can make you feel inferior without your permission. So at some level, you're actually allowing these people to take advantage of you, and then know your rule book of what it takes for people to take advantage of you. And number 3, change your rule book from, okay, I'm just going to give to people because that's who I am. And if I find that they're taking advantage of me, I'll either shift my rule book, be aware of the rule book, or I'm going to stand up and say, you know what? I don't care about people taking advantage of me. I can shift it that way and say, I'm just going to give to people and give to people without any thought of return. Or I'm going to shift from, you know what? I'm going to give to people. And if I feel like they're taking advantage of me, I'm going to be strong enough to walk away and say, you know, these people are actually not really my friends. And I'm going to change my friends. We've talked about this before. You become who you hang around. Raise your standards. Step up. Hang around people that are going to serve, that you can serve, that are going to help you, that are going to love you, they're going to help you grow and expand. And I promise, I remember one of my original mentors said this to me, Anthony, the best way to change, unfortunately, is to change your friends. And I remember him saying that. I'm like, wow, that's so powerful. He goes, that's one of the best ways. And through high school, I had probably 6, 7, 8 different sets of friends. And each set of friends I had growing through my 5 years in high school, my behavior changed with those sets of friends, depending on their behavior. And I'm sure the audience can relate to that. So if you really want to change your environment, change your friends, change who you're hanging around, change what you're as I said, I said in previous recordings and podcasts, my mentor said, where you will be in 2 years will depend on 4 things. We're going off topic here. Where you will be in 2 years will depend on 4 things. What you read, what you listen to, what you watch, and who you hang around. So be careful what you watch, be careful of what you listen to, be careful what you read, and be careful with who you hang around, what goes inside your mind, because you are literally 6 inches away from success and happiness, and that is the inches between your head, your brain, and how you go about using it. So step up, raise the standard. As I say to people sometimes, as crazy as it sounds, I'll say to them, 3 steps to changing your life. Shut up, gut up, and strut up. Stop your complaining and criticizing. Take full responsibility for your life. Gut up means get the courage to change it, get enough leverage to change it, get around people that are going to help you change it, and then strut up, take action. That's it. Stop your complaining. Stop your whining, your criticizing of the world. Because I remember hearing, and I'll end here, the great, the Serenity Prayer. And I'll repeat this for people out there. The Serenity Prayer says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Here's the new updated version. And I want you to hear this clearly and repeat it to yourself 1,000 times until it's actually seared into your nervous system, until you believe it. God, grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, the courage to change the people I can, and the wisdom to know that it's me. I can't change anybody. I can change me, though. The serenity to accept the things I can, or the people I cannot change, the courage to change the people I can, and the wisdom to know the only person that I can change is me. Focus on yourself. That's why the first step was know thyself. If this is your first podcast with me, this is step number 7. Go back to the previous 6, and I promise you, like you'll just have a plethora, a potpourri of wisdom to kind of just extract from, pull from to enhance your life.
All righty, another fire flaming podcast full of really good stuff. Seriously, really good stuff. I wish like 3 years ago I was able to listen to this, because what I do, I mean, if you're a fan of the podcast, I highly suggest you wake up and the first thing you do with your life is press play on this podcast, and just hearing his voice will be like, okay, yeah, maybe I should get up, maybe I should be awake, maybe life is good. Like one little, I used to wake up and the first thing I did before I even realized I was conscious was press play on a podcast and not let myself think, just be inspired right away. So you got it. Yeah, and then go brush your teeth, go make breakfast, go take your dog for a walk, do something. But that's what I love about this content. It's very passive, so you can program your mind while you drive. For sure. Anything. For sure. Yeah, and you know what? I'll leave you with this, guys. Zig Ziglar had this one quote, and it's been used over and over again, but I'll repeat it. You can have everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. Find out what other people want, give it to them without any thought of return, and you will get everything you want. That has been true in my life, in every area of my relationships, my spirituality, my money, my career. I just keep on giving to people what they want, their value, giving them love, giving them words of inspiration, giving up my gifts to themselves freely.
without any thought of return. And it just comes back to me in opportunity, in relationships, in friendship, in experience of life, spiritual connection with the universe, with God, with nature. My happiness is just amplified on a magnitude I can't even realize, just because I'm just giving and giving and giving. And you know what? Don't give because you will receive. Give because you've already received so much. That's a shift. Don't give because you will receive. You already will receive, but give because you've already received. I wake up feeling like I got $1 billion in my life account, and I just want to share it with the world. That's where I'm at right now in my life, and that's why I'm doing this podcast with you. That's why I'm giving myself to you, and I want to continue serving you and making you the best version of yourself possible. So to your continued upgrade and evolution, live it up with power, purpose, and passion. Thank you for joining us. I love you. Share it, like it, comment, subscribe. I look forward to our next session, guys. Thank you.